Hey, good morning. This is Chad Wakefield, the Chief Champion of You. I've got a couple of good questions recently from colleagues, collaborators, clients about how we do project management plans and how do we decide the format. And the more I work on these and the more I write them, the key thing really is simplicity. You really want something that's you're going to actually use it, not so elaborated and voluminous that it sits on the shelf and goes unused. And that's why I think the project charter is so important on the front end. So you get some of the big issues out of the way as far as who's the team, what are some of the early risks and the stakeholders you're trying to satisfy. That helps you guide your process a lot and the depth of planning that you're going to need to do. But I think if you're not in a position where you're going to do the charter, either there's not time or there's no appetite for it, which both happened on projects, then the simple way to do your project management plan is to focus in on really three things. One being risk. That is a big issue. You want to think about and think through how you're going to respond to variables that come up and how impactful they're going to be on your project. So having a good risk registry with planned responses is huge, and it'll save you a lot of headache down the road. The second thing is a very well thought out, very well directed roles and responsibility matrix. The easy way to get there is to take your scope of work, decompose it into enough tasks so that people get really clear on what they're going to have to deliver, and then identify who's going to be responsible as the accountable party, who's going to be the responsible deliverer, and then who needs to be consulted along the way or just kept in the loop, and having that as a working document, but something that's pretty well established on the front end, so that it sort of like places everyone. Right? Everybody kind of knows what they got to do and who else is going to be in the loop. And then the third thing is a schedule. And it sounds simple, but a lot of projects get done without schedules. And in my mind, you could typically link a time schedule with a cost schedule fairly easily, and show financial budgets as well as time budgets in the same document. So I think if you hit those three things, a risk document, a roles and responsibility matrix, and a schedule, you've got a pretty solid project management plan. It may not cover everything though. Right? There's all kinds of other things you need to consider depending on the size of your project and duration. Things like procurement, acquiring other resources. So the human resources aspect of it is huge. Budget control. Like I said, if you can artfully link budget and time, then that gives you something a little more easy to manage. But those two other issues, procurement and human resources, acquiring other resources, tend to be big sticking points on most projects. And so you may have to add those two things, and so now you got a sort of a 5-topic, if you will, project management plan. The rest can flow from there, and you can elaborate it on as you go along. But that's a quick and easy way to get started, and a pretty effective way to cover some of the really big topics. Hopefully that's helped you. If I can help you, feel free to reach out to me by email, which is Chad, C-H-A-D, at revivaldevelopmentservices.com, all spelled out. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Just type in Chad Wakefield and make sure it's the Revival Chief Champion of You guy and not some other Chad Wakefield. And I'd be happy to consult with you and help you out any way I can. Thanks a lot. Have a great one.